2 hours and 11 minutes. That's how long it took me to speedrun Minecraft back in 2021. But since then, I've been really busy, to the point where I had to quit Minecraft for over a year. And in that time, I lost all ability to beat the game.
Really?
I kept coding ideas for challenge videos, then scrapping them because I can't beat Minecraft anymore. So to make sure I can be as good as when I could beat the game looking like this, without just getting bored and quitting, I gave myself a deadline of 30 days to fix my speedruns. And to stop me losing interest and giving up again, I added a rule where most of the practice I do has to be made using command block, because that's the only thing I'm good at. See, at the moment I can't even get into the nether, which is like the easiest bit. And since most of my deaths were to mobs, my first mission was to build an arena to practice fighting these mobs. That's not terrible. And now all we need is something to spawn the mobs to fight. And I thought it would be really cool if it was moving. So give me a second and I'll... Well, that was easy. We've got this guy moving around. And every so often, ow, he'll spawn a mob. And once you kill one, another one spawns. And while this was a fairly simple design, it really helped me with my fighting ability and even my movement. But it didn't really help that well with the more important mobs that you have to fight for a speedrun. And I soon found out that it was so simple that it almost didn't help, since you wouldn't find completely flat terrain in a speedrun. So what did I do to counter this? TNT. I made the stage 50 times thicker and a second spawner which spawns TNT every 20 seconds. And although this meant I had to worry about constant TNT rain, which is not something I'd need to worry about in a speedrun, and the terrain being a lot rougher than anything you'd find in a speedrun, it was still a step up from the original, and I was getting good enough at mob fighting to have to start worrying about a different problem. We'll come back to this one later. Well, okay, I didn't see my lava. I hear you. I just don't see you. For God's sake. By this point, I'd already used a quarter of my time, and while I was getting a little further than before, every one of my runs were dying to me just making stupid decisions and jump that I wasn't good enough to make yet. And I had to fix this, so I created a new pack based around parkour. Oh, well, this isn't right. Hang on. You know, I mean, it means the thing works. Just not how I wanted it to. Give me a second. Aha! Oh, this is better. Yeah, this works now. So this parkour is completely randomly generated, and I could go on like this forever. But after a while, it made me feel more like a TikTok influencer than an actual Minecraft speedrunner. But this feels a bit boring, to be honest. Like, oh wow, that's a bug. You know what? That might actually be quite fun. I'm gonna keep that in. And as it turns out, even after actually making it harder by adding vexes that destroy the blocks behind you, it just felt too easy. And I'm not actually sure how helpful it is in a speedrun. Oh, I know what I can do. See, the old design was missing something, and that was actual mouse action. So I made all the blocks cobwebs, and gave myself an unlimited amount of blocks to place on them. And that was good, but it wasn't enough. So I went even further and removed all of the cobwebs. Now you have to speed bridge for as long as possible. And while it still wasn't the most fun, it was really helping me when it comes to speedrunning, so much that I got my best runs so far shortly afterwards. Annoyingly, this is one of the few runs I didn't record, so we're stuck with replay mod footage. After getting wood and stone for a pickaxe, boat, and door, I went out into the ocean to look for a ravine. Although this one I did something I don't normally do. And while I was looking for a ravine, instead I found an ocean ruin, which is normally something I completely ignore, since normally the chest loot isn't amazing. But I went for it and got the chest. I have no idea what was in the chest. Well, using replay mod, I'm recording this voiceover like a month afterwards, and replay mod doesn't show that. And shortly after that, I actually found a ravine and used that to get coal and iron. The reason I go for underwater ravines is because, one, they're easier to find since we don't have trees and stuff blocking the view, and two, no mobs spawn there. In an ordinary ravine, we'd have skeletons shooting you, zombies, and at this point of the run, I would just die since I didn't have a shield. But annoyingly, I couldn't stay there, so after getting at least 8 iron, I left the ravine and went to find a normal cave, and that was filled with mobs. But after all that without practicing, I didn't do that bad. And about a half an hour into the run, finally found a lava pool, which is exactly what I needed. But my luck didn't stop there. Once I'd made the nether portal, I spawned directly in front of the fortress. Now, normally I like to do the piglins first because they give you fire resistance, which is so useful for fighting blazes. But since there were no piglins around, I decided to do the nether fortress first. And while the spawner wasn't there immediately, I found it about a half a minute in. And I got some of the best luck I've ever gotten in a speedrun, which was 9 blaze rods after killing 11 blazes. That's only like a 50% chance of them dropping it. I was living the dream. Luckily there was one piglin nearby, so all I needed to do was trade with him and I panicked. After all that luck, I'd completely forgotten to get gold boot, meaning the piglin would attack me and it caught me completely off guard. But I thought fast. I stacked away from the piglin's reach and prepared to start crafting. Oh. Okay, so maybe that could have gone a bit better, but that run showed I could make it at least halfway through a speedrun, which was great since I was almost halfway through my time by this point. So if I kept going at this pace, I'd be able to beat the game by the end of the month. And I was more motivated than ever. But after a few more attempts at some of the practices, I noticed a big problem with both of them. They weren't helpful. You wouldn't find anything like this in a speedrun. Or even this. I've been trying to use commands to randomly make my own arena, but I don't need to do that. Hell, I don't even need a custom arena. Minecraft does all that for you. And if I'm going to be speedrunning in a random world anyway, I might as well just use that world as my arena. Okay, so I made a few adjustments to the code. Like, for example, this guy now abides the laws of physics. I removed the TNT because that was just a stupid idea, and it really makes a difference because not only do you have to fight the mobs now, you can actually get stuff if the zombie leaves me alone to make fighting even easier, which is like exactly what you do in a speedrun. And because it's using Minecraft worlds, every world is going to be different. That was not the right. This actually ended up helping a lot more than I expected, and on some of the worst seeds, I didn't even get trees, meaning I had to play a lot more creatively than I'd normally have to, which meant I was actually having fun. Are you kidding? And while this was super helpful, it only solved half of my problem, because I still had the parkour to improve, and my speedruns weren't getting very far without it. Are you kidding? And using the world border in the last design gave me a brilliant idea. Oh, it's running. Wait, I need to be running. Yeah, this is a great idea in theory. I'm not sure how helpful it's going to be at the moment, but hey, how'd I get wood? Oh, I can barely get wood. I could not be Minecraft like this. This ended up being a lot more useful than the old version, because the world border will take you wherever it chooses, and if you can't keep up with it, you just die. And while sometimes this might mean you're stuck in the ocean for like 20 minutes. Okay, well that's just rude. By this point, most of my deaths weren't even happening in the overworld, meaning this was still helpful, but it could be improved. And luckily, since I've already got the code, it should be very easy to just move it all to the nether. Why is it going so slow? This was a problem. The world border was moving so slow that I couldn't work with it. I have no idea why this was happening, and it ended up taking me 2 days to fix. And while this did help a lot in the end, I only had a week left, meaning I was way behind schedule. But it wasn't all bad, because once I'd fixed it, it helped so much more than it should have. Like, in ways that I didn't even intend for it to help. Oh my god, I'm actually doing it. Damn it. I had a long way to go. But this still wasn't helping. I still wasn't getting anywhere close to even beating the game. Never mind beating my PB. And I couldn't figure out why. So I took a day out and just went and watched a bunch of my old speedruns from like 2 years ago to see what I was doing differently. And then I realized I was never that good at the game. Most of my runs back then were dying in very similar ways to how I was dying now. So I wasn't falling behind anymore. I was on par with how I was doing before, and that 1 2 hour 11-minute run was probably a complete fluke. Fluke. That's a funny word. But since I had no footage of that run, I couldn't prove this. And despite that fact, my goal remained the same, because I wasn't gonna let myself get outdone by me from 2 years ago, and I was determined to beat the game and destroy my PB. And shortly afterwards, this happened. Ah, the closest tree is all the way up the mountain. Great. This world generation was not good for a speedrun, and if I wasn't determined to play through every world I found, then at this point I would have just given up. Oh no, there's a tree right here. Is that 2 trees? That's 2 trees right here. And when I reached the tree, stone was easy to find, but I have to iron now. You would think in a biome like this, you should just be able to see iron up there. So the fact is, I'm not seeing that, it's kind of worrying. So I was really struggling at this point, and I searched the whole mountain, and I couldn't find a single iron anywhere on the whole. Oh, that was lucky. Yeah, I only need like 8. 11. Wow, that went a bit too well. Now I need a lava pool, and I'm not going to find one down there. This was a fairly small island, and I couldn't see lava anywhere. And since that's kind of what we need, I went into the ocean to find another island which might have lava on it. This is the direction I said I wouldn't go. I found a huge island, and used it to gather food, which I normally forget about in speedruns. And as it turned night time, the place became swarmed with mobs. Practices really helped with this, and I did brilliantly against them. Eventually I found a massive cave. You know what? If anywhere's gonna have a lava pool, it's an area like this. Oh, and 3 minutes after entering the cave, that is a lava pool. And this is my custom nether portal setup, because the other one just seems like such an unnecessary. As I entered the nether, I realized something. I forgot to do the gold boots. And every time I forgot it previously, I always died to piglins. I haven't even smelted it yet. My god. I knew I was rushing something. As I trapped the piglins in boat, well, there's only 2 of them, because 3 aren't gonna fit in a boat. I smelted the gold and started trading with the piglins. I also got another boat, and while the piglins were trading, I went and hunted down endermen, which actually have a higher chance of giving you pearls, just less of them. And it was a good thing I did that, because while the piglins gave me no good trades, the endermen also didn't give me pearls, meaning that was all a waste of time. And as I travelled to find more piglins, I realised something. Did I take the nether portal cords? I forgot to keep track of where my nether portal was, meaning not only am I going to need 14 ender pearls. I see where we go for the piglins now, to be honest. Yeah, because I killed 7 endermen, got 1 ender pearl so far. 8 endermen, 1 ender pearl. But I would also need 10 obsidian to get back out of the nether. And since you could get both of those from piglin trade, I focused on that rather than enderman. But since I was running out of gold in the place I was at, I started to leave. And while looking for more gold, I decided I'd take the time to move around a bit and find a nether fortress. The amount of times I've gone around in a circle like 10 times over trying to find a nether fortress and crossing the same ruined portal every time is a little more than I'd like to admit. Okay, that's only happened once, but I still don't like to admit it. Oh, I almost went straight past that. I'm starting to think the generation isn't the problem. I found the fortress. I don't know exactly what the structure looks like that the place is spawned in, but this is a dead end. After about 2 minutes, I found the spawn. Aha! Flash fire there, so they can't hurt me. Why can't I have this luck with the enderman? That's 2 blaze rods for 3 places. 3 for 5. I'm gonna have to shoot you. Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I have to go all the way down here to get it. I'm very tempted to just add walls. Because you keep doing this. Oh, I actually got that. I'm amazing. Oh, a lot of them. Like, as long as I stay this far away, they shouldn't be able to hit me, I think. While I am fireproof, I'm not fist-proof, and blazes do melee damage. Probably to prevent us just using fire res. That didn't stop me, I've got enough now. But that's all the blaze rods I need. Going back to piglin trades, I finally got my first ender pearl trade. Oh, obsidian, great. And ender pearls. 3 obsidian, 7 ender pearls. And that was more ender pearls. And with 11 ender pearls out of the 14 I needed, I continued searching until I found this. Oh my god, I actually found it. That was my entrance portal, meaning I no longer needed the obsidian. Maybe I am getting better at navigation. That was the wrong thing. I was way on pace to beat my need one more. I was super excited for this, because I hadn't gotten this far in over 2 years. And with the hard bit of the run out of the way, the Eye of Ender goes this way. I didn't think there was anything that could stop me now. Phantom. Oh no. I didn't think about these. I haven't been practicing against phantoms. I didn't think they'd ever be a problem. I don't have wool, do I? You can craft them. Hang on, this might be genius. Don't do that. Don't take my chances. because I have no experience against phantoms. As I threw the ender eyes, the eyes of ender were going completely straight. That's a complete straight line. I tried everything to stay on the same axis as the eye. Oh, hang on, if it's this way, there's a good chance if it's over there, it's ocean exposed. So there's a good chance I should just be able to see it. Aha! Now, the way strongholds work is the Eye of Ender will always lead you into a starting staircase. And from that starting staircase, it's at most 6 rooms till you find the portal room. Which is great, because strongholds can be huge. I'm not entering through the way we're meant to enter, meaning the end portal could be anywhere. I started off in the library, which as far as I was aware could have generated anywhere in the stronghold. So my task now was to find the starting staircase. And after like 10 or 20 minutes of just searching... This isn't looking good, my PB. I couldn't find it. Actually, this might seem kind of stupid since I'm already in the stronghold. The starting staircase is that way. So I decided to leave the stronghold and throw another Eye of Ender to find the entrance the intended route. And once I found the starting stairs, there we go. I need something to indicate this is the starting staircase. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Is that the... Oh, it's so annoying. Okay. And after another 10-20 minutes, I still couldn't find the portal room. And I'd searched every direction. I knew I must have been missing something. And with no idea left of my own, I did what any good speedrunner would do at this point. Am I allowed to Google if there's a good way to do this? I pulled up YouTube and got a tutorial on how to find the portal room. And after following the wrong instructions for another 10 minutes... This is for finding the stairs.
Can actually generate hidden rooms.
Yes, I'm aware of this. I think we might have just got a bad seed then. Unless there's a hidden room around here.
If you go over here, this is one room. This little
no,
is one room.
Unless it's
this little hallway is one room. This corner is one room.
Ah! Hidden room! And only 30 seconds after I found that hidden room. There we go! Okay, finally. Thank you. Okay. But my training had been so focused on getting to this point that I completely forgot that there was a whole dragon fight afterwards. But luckily the piglin trades had given me all the arrows I needed to make this work. I don't need to teleport to the There we go. But none of my training was on those. So I had no idea how good I was going to be with such long distance shots. I'm not actually terrible at this. But unfortunately it wasn't good enough, and after getting a few of the crystals down, I ran out. How many blocks do I have? 41 cobble. I had no choice but to bridge over to the next pillar. Sure, I died. From the 7 minutes to find the iron to the terrible piglin trades. That run had some terrible luck all throughout it. But for 90% of that run, I was over half an hour ahead of my PB. This was more of a success than a failure. And now I knew where my problems lay, and that was in the stronghold. That segment of the speedrun should normally take only a few minutes, at most. And it took me over 40. I mean, sure, there was also a dragon fight, but that could have been resolved easily by just setting a bed outside the portal room. So I had to figure out what went wrong with the stronghold. It was the hidden rooms. While I'd done a bit of research on strongholds before, I hardly ever practiced them. And unlike parkour or mob fights, it was so hard to come up with an easy practice for this. So I just went super simple and added a timer. It starts when you enter the stronghold and ends when you find the end portal. So I opened a world and started grinding strongholds, but I found a couple of tiny problems which could ruin my whole plan. Well, first off, remember how I described strongholds before with the portal being 6 rooms from the starting staircase, at most? Well, that was just wrong. Portal rooms only start spawning at the 6th room, then they get less and less common the further out you go. So my tactic of going 6 rooms out and blocking the exit off when I don't find a portal wasn't going to work. I learned that the hard way. Once I figured that out, I had the problem of caves. Sometimes they'd spawn straight through a stronghold and make it really difficult to count the rooms when there's this in the middle of it. It sucks. But other than those rare occasions, and the fact that it took me a long time to figure out what even counted as the end of a room, I was consistently finishing in under 5 minutes, which isn't great by speedrun standards. But if you gave me a 5-minute stronghold time instead of a 40-minute one on that good run, and a bed to respawn, then I would have a new PB and this video would be over. So I decided that I just got a bad seed and tried again. Every time I died to a mob, I played through the mob fight practice. Then the next run, I can kill all of the mobs, but then jump into lava. So then I tried the parkour practice for a while, and the run after that, I died to mobs again. Are you kidding? I seem to be stuck in an infinite loop of getting good at one thing, but worse at the other. But each run would slowly get me closer and closer to the end and beating the game. All until the final day. I woke up at 6 AM to go to work. So by the time I was ready to speedrun, it was already 6 PM, meaning I only had 6 hours to beat the game before my time ran out at midnight. In the first run, I spawned straight in front of the chest. The loot wasn't good, but I now had food and fuel, so I left to find wood, and I found a ruin portal. It gave me gold armor, which was a great start, but not for iron. So I dug down until I found an underwater ravine. But after searching around in it, I might have to say there's none in here. I almost left the ravine completely empty-handed before I found some. It's at least 4, it might be 5, 6. And after getting food, I spotted a lava pool. That's useful, but I need 2 more iron first. There was none on this cliff, so I went to another underwater cave. I only need 2. And that's what it's giving me. I mean, I'd have liked a bit more, but I don't need it. I found the lava pool again and made the portal, entering the nether in 22 minutes. I think we are normally in the nether by now, in most runs. I'm still a step ahead of most runs since I came in with gold armor, but I don't have the normal gold, do I? No. This nether was trash. We spawned in a crimson forest, which is good, but there was hardly any gold, and the piglin trade luck was horrible. Stop it, I don't need that. So after a while of searching for gold and piglins, I found this. Oh, that's a perfect biome, because I'm not getting good luck with the piglin trade, so I'm just gonna kill enderman for a bit. And that worked so much better. Now I'm getting more and more ender pearls from enderman. That's 4 ender pearls in 3 minutes, compared to the 6 minutes I spent with piglins to get none. Honestly, I'm really glad I never speedrun the game before the nether update, because that was a pain to get enderman. You had to build like a big ladder in the middle of a desert and like repeatedly die until you saw an enderman, because they didn't spawn in the nether back then. I lost the first run, but I expected that, since this run was done before playing any practices. So since I died to lava, I went through the nether parkour practice, which I thought would help, but most of it was just mining, then bridging, then just walking in a straight line. It was boring, and I ended up just making my own challenges to get anything out of it. But then after 5 minutes, I got bored, so I moved on to the mobfight practice, which is so much more fun. I did 2 runs. The first one took 18 minutes. I died 20 times, and then I just gave up. I don't want to talk about it. The second run was much better. It also took 18 minutes, but this time I actually beat it, and with only 9 deaths. Maybe a tiny bit of luck, but I was ready to get back into another speedrun. This time I went straight into a cave, got 4 iron 2 minutes in, and 5 more at minute 4. Then I just kept finding more iron in the cave. If I get enough iron, I'm actually just gonna make armor, so I'm gonna make iron chest plate. But I was so focused on getting iron and mining that now I had a different problem. So I'm out of food. I never bothered to get food, and it took me a while to get back to the surface. Are you kidding? I'm gonna be extra careful here actually. I never make torches. That was a good call. I came up with a new tactic to find mobs, and I finally found food. Then I went up high to search for lava, and I found one surprisingly quickly, and entered the nether in 16 minutes. I haven't got gold. That's my main problem at the moment. I'd like gold boots. This nether looked like an entirely underground labyrinth, so I screenshotted the portal and set off. Found plenty of gold, but with no nearby piglins or fortresses. I didn't have a lot to work with. Oh, there's a piglin over there. Oh, those ones. Never mind, okay. Those are zombie piglins. In the end, I just chose a direction and mined for 3 straight minutes before I found something. That's open. That is a basalt delta, so it's not the best, but it is open now. That basalt delta led straight into a warp forest. I found enderman, and I found even more enderman, and after killing 3 more, I only got 1 ender pearl. But I sold loads of gold from spawn, and I just found something else I need. Oh, piglin, finally. Door. Don't have a door. Damn it. I figured I had no time for more practices, so I went straight into my 3rd one of the day. Found a massive underwater cave, and got all the iron I needed within 5 minutes. I almost died just being dumb waiting for the iron to smelt, and set off to look for... Oh, that's the lava pool. I entered the nether before it could even turn nighttime. Okay, this is a better seed than last time. It was a boring spawn, but compared to my other nether spawns, it was probably the best one yet. I looked around and found a crimson forest and a... I have a choice now. I could either kill enderman for a 50% chance of 1 ender pearl, or I could trade over there for like a 4% chance of 3 ender pearls. I killed enderman till I ran out, mining gold along the way, and trading with piglins. That wasn't fair. It was only that block, are you kidding? That's like the only one I stood on. Oh, thanks for fire res. You know what, I'm not even gonna use the fire res. Yeah. Eventually I got all the pearls I needed. Went looking for a fortress. I keep forgetting I can kind of afford to be a bit more reckless. Like, I'm not... Case in point. Problem is now I don't have fire res for the fortress, so I can either try and trade for some more, or just not use fire res. Which doesn't always go great, but... I wanted my fire res back from piglins. Oh, now I get ender pearls. Yeah, I kind of don't need this now. Oh yeah, more ender pearls, thanks. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't get the fire vest. I went off to look for a fortress, but that took forever. Oh great. I wish there was a better way to actually find an nether fortress, because at the moment it's kind of just walk around, and sometimes there's one there, sometimes there's not. I used a trapdoor to get through walls faster, but I'm convinced this nether was rigged, since I thought I found a completely new area. I'm not going back on myself here, am I? Because I'm seeing a concerning amount of warped forest. Yeah, no, I just went completely back on myself. How the hell did I manage that? Problem is, the last time I spent this long searching for a nether fortress, I died to gas, which isn't really an easy thing to die to. Kind of hopeful for this one, since there's not much that can kill me, really. Like, obviously there is. I just parkoured over like 10 small blocks of lava. Yeah, that would happen, wouldn't it? That run was great, but I think it shows that sometimes the problem isn't always me being bad at the game, but sometimes it's the game that's bad at the game. I'm talking about RNG. I spent half an hour hunting down a nether fortress in that run, not finding one, and dying because there is no good way to find one. So much of Minecraft's game mechanics is just up to dumb luck, and assuming a successful run takes around the time of my PB, I now had just enough time for one final run. This time I spawned in a forest, got stone and stuff, and I'm raced to get iron, moving the fastest I think I've ever moved. I'm like completely leaning forward in my chair, I never do this. Found the biggest underwater cave yet, and a bunch of iron. I've got 5, I need 8, and I don't really see any more around here. I left to get flint, and because I was moving so fast, I ran out of hunger. I'm going back because I don't have food. And it got so bad that I couldn't even sprint by the time I reached the surface. Oh no. Okay, I found more. I really need to whisper. They're not gonna hear me. And once I got food, it had turned nighttime. And I swear there was more mobs than usual. I survived, and still on the search for iron, I found an enderman, which gave me a free ender pearl, a ruined portal with 3 gold blocks and armor, but no iron. So when I found a lava pool, I don't have the stuff for this yet, do I? I couldn't make a bucket for the portal. So I made a small trip out to the ocean. I found a ruined portal with enough iron nuggets for 1 more ingot, and a ravine with the other 2 I needed. Oh, also I was completely lost. I definitely didn't come from the motion biome, and I think I'd have remembered it if I saw a motion biome. This was... hang on. I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing that. Which one was closer? That was closer, wasn't it? So I'm gonna say it's this way. I went way too far out in the ocean. I'm not sure why I can't see the island. Yeah, there we are. I'm seeing concerning lack of lava pool. There was no way I was finding that lava pool again. I'm gonna have to have a really good nether after this. Although I had a bit of a head start on the nether. What are you doing out in the sunlight? Since I found another enderman, already giving me a second ender pearl. Hey, I'll take it. Hey, it's another gold block. Oh no, I've been here already. That was half an hour ago. Where did I go from there? I mean, I don't want to retrace all my steps, but that's a lava pool right there. I entered the nether in 33... Wait, no. And of course, I forgot to get water. I thought everything was going too perfectly. 35 minutes. It was horrible. Literally double the last worst time today. But just as I thought nothing could save this run. Oh, yes. It's a good thing that one pillar spawned like that. Never mind. I screenshotted the portal, and since piglins don't spawn in this biome, I went straight up into the fortress. Okay, we made it in without the skeletons. That's better than some runs. Some runs I die immediately to with the skeleton before I'm moving in. And I still died. But now I had 2 options. Restart a completely new run, new seed, and probably never find a nether fortress again. Or I could keep the run going and respawn. Here's the plan. Every time I reach the nether, I always screenshot the portal codes. It's mostly so I don't need obsidian to build a new portal, but I can use it to find the overworld portal and get right back to my stuff. It just needs a bit of math. 65 times 8 is... that's 520. And then 48 is 64. 32. So my nether portal should be at 520,364, which is this way. So the good news was I found the portal codes. The bad news is it was over 900 blocks away. So I had to travel so far just to reach the coordinates that might have just been wrong. If I'm right, I'm so smart. I'll genuinely be impressed if I'm right. I don't think I realised quite how far away that was. And I knew I had food back in the fortress. So aside from rotten flesh from a particularly annoying zombie, I didn't think I needed food. Where's the problem? Maybe I didn't, yeah, never mind. I wasn't gonna make this video. after all that practice, that was how I died, really. I decided that that was a waste of a month. I didn't want to make this video, and so I didn't. Everything you just watched was recorded in January 2023, before I started making shorts, before I really started coding stuff. The only videos I made were Minecraft butt challenges. You might see the problem now. And those coded practices really didn't help much either. Every so often, I would load a world and try again, without the stress of recording, without the pressure of practices. And again, I failed. I started keeping a record of every way I died, and yep, that's pretty bad. But there was one day, April 1st, 2023, of all days, I finally beat the game. And I beat it fast enough that my PB was brought down from 2 hours 11 minutes, all the way down to 2 hours and 9 minutes. Hey, so that sucked. I'm not good at being a speedrunner. But if you want to see a few things I am good at, I spent the whole of last year coding 100 cool new features into Minecraft, and you can see some of those over here. People really seem to like those. Maybe I'll make some more in the future.